In today's episode, we're going to look at the serial matinee style motif. This motif is one that George Lucas has been talking about a bit in the media lately. He's been emphasizing once again that the acting in the prequels, the acting in the original Star Wars, that this acting is not meant to be method acting. It's not meant to be high drama or intense sort of like verbal drama. Instead, it is based on the old silent films and the old serial matinee films, the acting in those films. And there are many other aspects of the serial matinee motif that come up throughout the Star Wars films, and I want to just explore a few of these here today. First, you have as source material the old Douglas Fairbanks films like Zorro and some of the other serials from the silent days in the 1920s. And from the 1930s, you have Flash Gordon, things like The Planet of Peril. And in this, you see the smoke and the ash and the light. These are the things that traditionally in silent film will introduce a hero, such as Zorro in this piece here, and it will frame the hero. In the case of Star Wars, George Lucas is using it to frame the villain. Of course, we find out later this is the hero, but it is the villain for the logic of this particular installment, this particular episode that we're looking at. You also see that same kind of framing in Zorro. Visually, they're setting up the drama. And then there's these daring rescues, like the one you see on the left in Phantom Menace, where they go behind enemy lines in order to save their allies, sometimes a damsel in distress, just as Zorro does on the right. And you see that swashbuckling sword fight choreography, real showy conflict. It's a conflict that's meant to look like conflict. And then you eventually have the yielding of the losers. Another trope are these scrawls, the opening scrawls that we see at the beginning of the Star Wars films, where you have the whole backstory that leads up to the opening shot given to us in written form. And this written form is meant to fill in blanks and to promise adventure with names like Return of the Jedi or The Phantom Menace or A New Hope. This trope is one that came from the old silent days. We are using the same kind of scrawl as in some of the Flash Gordons and the other serial matinees. You'll have the actual scrawl, just like the Star Wars scrawl. In this episode of Planet of Peril, they show the opening writing in the opening title plates as just static plates. But it's still the same basic idea. Planet of Peril, Return of the Jedi, Attack of the Clones. You see those wipes, the wipes between shots. And you see these openers where you have the enemy lair from the outside, and it gives the filmmakers a chance to show you where you are, the exotic place that you are in outer space or in whatever exotic locale that you are. In this section, notice the acting. Notice how big it is. Notice how showy it is. How physical. That is the style that George Lucas is going for in Star Wars. You need to know that to enter Star Wars. That's what makes Star Wars feel so visceral. That's what makes it feel so alive. It rhythmizes human interaction. It heightens it like opera or melodrama. And as you can see, many of the same plot twists happen in the old serial matinees as they do in the Star Wars episodes. So what does this all add up to? Why is George Lucas combining serious themes like political empire, totalitarianism, very dark themes like domination? Why is he combining these kinds of themes with light-hearted filmmaking from the 1920s and the 1930s? The most light-hearted versions of silent film that you can find are the ones that in this video we see that he's brought together and brought to bear on the subjects that Star Wars is dealing with. I would suggest that what he's going for, perhaps, is this idea that even though history is timeless and it goes in circles, it goes in cycles, and we always have the same terrible and wonderful things happening over and over again, and the wise know that and should be aware of that, that doesn't take away from the fact that life happens right now. Life happens with people who are young and exuberant and playful and interested. People who are interested in the moment. People who are exuberant, as I already said. I think it's that combination, that light-hearted present moment feel, combined with a timeless depth and richness of color that creates that unique flavor that is Star Wars, that unique idea that Star Wars is going for, is hitting on.